Okay, so welcome to the Chakra Way Meditation podcast. Today I have Alida Morrill with me, who is an energy coach. Well, welcome, Alida. How are you today?
I am doing awesome and very happy to be here with you today.
Yeah, no, well, thanks for agreeing to come on. My big sort of mission with this podcast is to talk to as many energy healers as I possibly can.
Mhm.
Um, I work with the chakras, as everybody knows. I bang on about them all the time. Chakras, yoga, meditation, that's my bag. But I
Mhm.
feel like there's a way of finding a healing modality, an energetic work, framework, whatever, that's going to
Mhm.
suit everybody. This, not one size fits all. And so there's something out there for everybody.
Absolutely. And I believe that every healer has a gift and they all just link together, right? So that everybody's offering is beautiful. There's no right and
Exactly.
there's no wrong. It
Yeah.
just is. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of finding somebody who one wants to work with, it's all about resonance, isn't it? It's all about like you click and you just. So, listen, Adila, Alida, I'm so sorry, I keep getting your name wrong. Alida, tell me about your journey, how you got to where you are today, and what brought you to where you are today, and how you work. Yeah.
I have an interesting story,
Excellent.
and it started in 2009. Okay, if we frame that time in my life, I had graduated, which I call it now. I retired, but I graduated from corporate America in March of 2008. So my idea was that, well, I didn't have all the money I wanted for my retirement, so I wanted plan B in place. I was tired of corporate America. And so I was working my Arbonne business, which is healthy skincare, and it's multi-level marketing type company.
Yeah.
I did everything right, and I made no money.
Mm.
And so February of 2009 comes along, and I'm a runner, or was a runner. I don't run anymore, but I was always seeing a chiropractor, and my chiropractor had been on maternity leave and I had a new one. Perfect. Except that the one on maternity leave gives me a call and she says, I'm back in business now and I get you should come see me. And I'm like, what was that?
Yeah.
And I was so a little bit uncomfortable by it that I went ahead and made an appointment. So a week before the appointment, I probably scheduled it 2 weeks out. So a week before the appointment, I think, I'm just seeing my new chiropractor. I don't need another one. Let me push it out. And I
Mm.
did. Then the night before the rescheduled appointment, I come home to my voice recorder, which we didn't have our phones telling us recordings. So the voice recorder and heard, you have an appointment tomorrow. Well, something about my personality, I don't change appointments. It's within 24 hours, the office is closed. I guess I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go to the appointment and she lays me down on a chiropractic table and she's doing kinesiology with my arm.
Okay.
Okay. And she says, oh, I feel sadness. And I look up at her and I go, I'm not sad. Actually, I'm quite happy. She tests again and she said, yes, there's sadness there. So I quickly pondered, and here's the rub. Here's what is difficult for me to get comfortable talking about, but I'm doing it. And I said to her, I said to her, my ex-husband committed suicide about 2, 3 weeks ago. Is it him? And she said, yes, it's him. You need to talk to him. And she walked away from the table. I'm laying there. I said to him in my mind, and I remember it so clearly, I loved you once. I don't anymore. You hurt me and you hurt my children. See, it was my second marriage. He was an extreme narcissist as a personality disorder. I told him, we're happy now and you need to leave.
Mm.
She walks back to the table and she says, oh, he's gone now. But she points up to the corner. He's up in that corner and he's really angry. And I think that would be him. Okay.
Sounds likely,
That's
yeah.
him. So you see my journey. I had so many questions in that appointment that I made another appointment. Okay. I'm like, what was this?
Yeah.
Well, what I learned, because I had from February of 2009 to February of 2010, one heck of an awakening, learning about energies, learning about energies like my ex-husband that could attach to me, okay, like a spirit attachment,
Yeah.
and that she cleared him off. And I would see an energy on my grandson who's only 7 years old, okay, and I'd look at him having a temper tantrum over on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he couldn't have a cookie 10 minutes before dinner. It was a stupid reason.
Yeah.
And I'm going, this doesn't make sense. And then it came over me. So during this time, my intuition was growing and growing and growing. And I would look at him and I'd look at my daughter and I'd say in my mind, if you're not here for highest and best good, go to the light. I was speaking to an energy.
Mm-hmm.
He'd get up, dust himself off, look at us as if we're crazy, and walk away. And she was just absolutely amazed and started doing it herself, right? And so she could start clearing it, doing the same thing, because she said, tell me what you're doing. I told her out loud. So the whole gist of this is that I learned about energy on the job. I learned in that year about dark energy. I learned so much. I was taking classes, and, come February of 2009 or 2010, that's what it was. Then the chiropractor, by the time about 6 months in, we were collaborating.
Right.
Okay. And so then the chiropractor was getting all this information and telling me about it. She said, you need to come. I need to give this to you. And I realized that it is what I used it for is to create a protocol that I use with my clients, step by step by step, to ensure that their energy field is clear. And I can sit here and talk all day about what this was like in my life at the time, and a brief summary, so we can maybe I can answer some other questions. But a brief summary is that I was guided to create a protocol. Every piece of data that she researched, or a page in a book or whatever, had meaning in my protocol. But I was guided as to how to put it together, how to make it work, how to work with a client.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think the most important part of my work is, and it's been that way. So it's 2010. I'll tell you when I started working on clients until today. Okay. So when I work with a new client, I ask them a couple questions. Certainly, I don't want to sit there and talk to them all day. I want to go find energy. So I ask them, what's not working in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Is it health? Is it money? Is it your job? Is it relationships? And then they go through a scenario of what's not working. And then I ask them, what would you rather have? Okay. So we flip the coin. So the cup half empty, cup half full, however you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't take very long, because it's usually the opposite of what they don't like
Yeah.
in their life. Uh-huh. And then what we do at the very top of my protocol is a line. And on that line, we create an intention statement. Okay. That's what they want in their life. It's some form of nirvana. I want perfect health and incredible, whatever, right? We get into detail, or we do a high level. It might be, I want to be on my perfect path to my purpose because someone is opening up. Okay. So I I see clients for all kinds of reasons. So to that intention statement, my protocol is gonna help guide me to find all of the energies that are blocking them from achieving that. Okay, so I'm clearing the slate, right? And yes, absolutely, it includes any energies that may have layered on top of us, because that does happen, right? It could be generational stuff. It could be, I even look for any possibilities on dark energies. Um, so
This is so,
I'm going to take a breath here because I've
yeah,
given
take
you so
a
much.
breath, Alida. This is so fascinating because do you know what I love this especially because I have just this morning been talking to somebody else who works in a similar way to you, in that I don't know, I love it when synergy coincidences happen, when
Yes.
something starts to come into your life. And for me, it's been this kind of, actually there's these attachments, cords, dark energies, like you say, energies that don't actually belong to you, that have somehow come on you, whether they're ancestral or from wherever.
Yeah.
And this has been a little running theme of the last couple of weeks for me. And now here you are talking about, I had no idea that this was your vibe. I was like, this woman looks really lovely. She's an energy coach. She feels like we talk the same language. Yes, I'd love to talk to her and find out more. And then you come up with this, and I'm like, well, there we are. This is meant to be. This is something that I'm obviously wanting to, for my own personal thing. And this is obviously, I record these to share with people, but I get so much personally from talking to people like yourself as well. And when all these coincidences start happening, and this kind of like this energy, attachments, cords, all of those sort of things start coming up frequently, I'm like, this is definitely a sign. This is something that I need to know more about.
That's actually kind of amazing, right? That it all fits in. As I said, we all work together like this. There's it isn't even an overlap. It doesn't feel like an overlap. It doesn't feel like what you would call a competition, right?
No, absolutely, exactly. And literally, I mean, from where I'm sitting, the more people that are working with energy, the more people that are with an awareness of this type of energy and what it can do to a person. And I mean, everything from your health to your mindset to and then that rubs onto everything else in your life.
Well, it really does. And I I don't work with too many people myself because I've raised my vibration up and up and up and have a very high awareness level. So on my journey, I found a woman that I could get a reading from, right? Who would tell me what she sees in my energy field. And it was really fun because every time I contacted her, my mother would come in and talk to me. And it was beautiful. And what my family told me is first of all, they were kind of amazed at my work, what I was doing. But what they told me is that you're healing the world one person at a time. Isn't that beautiful?
Totally beautiful. And that's all that anybody can do.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you can write books, and you can see people one-to-one, you can run courses, group courses, you can put as much energy out there, but however you do it, you are connecting with that one person who's hearing these words, that one person who's having that aha moment about what is going on for them.
Absolutely. And I feel like I am here for that one person. I'm not here for a lot of people. I just want that one person. And if I can get that one person and help them, my day is done, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. If you can sow a seed into one person's mind, and they will go and share that revelation with maybe 2 or 3 other people who will then, and they don't go and share it, but it opens up a channel of thought for them, and they go and explore in a maybe slightly different direction or whatever. However it happens, it's just pushing it gently out there, because
Right.
Lord knows the world needs more light and more at the moment.
Oh, it's so true. You know, something in my throat. My business has been primarily word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
It started with word of mouth. So I told you I went to some classes in my first year, and I met a bunch of people, and I started working on them. So I would go to a class during the spring of 2010 when I'm building my protocol, and I would recognize that there was some person in the class that I could help, which was once this one woman who um, came into the class and started monopolizing the teacher, and the teacher wasn't happy with her, and she wanted her issue solved, where the class was supposed to teach all of us something new. And so she kept kind of almost like batting her away. And I sat there thinking, I think I can help this woman. So at break, I asked her, I said, would you mind if I worked on your energy? I believe I can help you. And she said, oh, no, 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 go ahead. Well, I did. And I found that she actually, this is really unusual. She's a real big horse person. Okay. And she actually had a horse attached to her. And I cleared it. That's really unusual. I think she's part horse, Common. And so I cleared it. And at the end of the class, she was raving about how much better she felt and that it was gone. And so that's how people heard about me. And so I was always getting referrals,
Yeah.
such that when I was ready to start my business, this was fun, is that I said I had my protocol and my phone would ring. And I let it go to voice message because I didn't want to answer straight up a person calling me for help. And so I'd listen to their message, and then I decide, oh, my thinking, can I help this person? I'd get a yes, because I'm very intuitive. I get answers. Okay. Do I know what to do? Oh, yes, I do. Okay. Do I charge them? Nope. Okay. So I'd call them back and help them with their problem. And one time, this is a fun story. One time I had two girls call. They called the teacher of that class I was taking, and she didn't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. And she said, Alida, I got one for you. So she referred them to me. Well, they were sitting in a car and they had a poltergeist situation going on. They saw a black cloud. The door locks were going up and down. The radio station was going back and forth. And I listened to that message and I go, can I help them? I was scared. And I got, yes. Well, do I know what to do? Yes. I went, okay. So I just do my regular process. I got a yes. Do I charge them? No. But okay. I called them back. It was really, I had to release breath, call them back. And I just started doing my protocol. Pretty soon she said, oh, the dark cloud is lifting. I'm going. And then she said, oh, the radio station isn't going back and forth anymore. And I'm going, I'm thinking, dang, this really works.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the door lock started going up, stopped going up and down. And they said, thank you so much. And I got off the phone and I was on my knees on the floor praying to God. I said, what was this? And what are you showing me that I can do with these gifts? That was really the response that I had. Isn't that interesting?
It is. It's fascinating. And now what I want to know more about is what is your protocol? And I don't know whether you're going to give, you don't want to give away your secrets, but what is involved in your protocol? Because when I know from working with and talking to various energy workers, there's a process of just clearing. And as you said, everything that we do is for the highest intention and highest good. And clearing any non-friendly attachments and releasing cords and so on. and then what? Like,
right. I can share the gist of my protocol. I'm happy to do that because I think you deserve it. So if I show you my protocol on the camera, it's very complex. Okay.
For those of you who are only listening and not watching, this is a big old spreadsheet kind of grid thing. With a lot going on that.
A lot going on. Okay. So when I work with someone, I told you the first thing on the top is their name goes there, the date, and their intention statement. And then it's deep breath. I start by asking questions like, are they on our team? There's the team of good and evil out there.
Okay.
I can't work with someone that isn't on our team.
Do you have guides? Would you say you have a guide and many guides?
Many guides. I believe that I feel empowered. So let me tell you what my general feeling is when I'm working is that I'm in a cylinder that goes up to a point. All right. And I have incredible guides, the archangels, I have angels, my mom's a guide. I have my dad's a guide, and it goes all the way up to the point, which is God. Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit. Come on, help me, right? I am totally open to whoever wants to help me. And I don't think about who is helping me. It doesn't matter. I just need my helpers. Yeah. And so I am so they've got my back. That's all I can tell you. Okay. Yeah. Because the answers just pop in my head. So one thing that I do, I'll tell you, is that I use a pendulum. Okay. And my yay! Yours is bigger than mine. I have this, but the reason I use a pendulum is to confirm what I'm getting. I don't use it to act. The only time I use it to get me an answer is that I'm looking at a number between 1 and 22, which is my protocol. Some of my protocols, which I'll explain, have multiple stages, multiple options to them. So I need to know it. Oh, it's number 10. Okay, I'll go do that. So it doesn't. The number of the protocol doesn't always come in my head. It usually does, but I don't waste time doing that with my gifts. Okay, so I'm using a pendulum to confirm everything I get. I just hold it, and it's going yes and no and yes and no, and I'm in sync. So if ever I'm not in sync, okay, what I do is I clear myself, I clear the pendulum, and I go at it again, because I have been attacked in my working. And it doesn't happen very often, but I have to be prepared to make sure that I'm always 100% accurate. That's all that I have room for in my work. Okay. So after I've asked the question, are they on our team? If they're not, sometimes the person, if I'm clearing the wife and she wants me to, hey, would you look at my husband? I'll do that. But if he's not on our team, then what I do, and by the way, my work is very creative, and you'll see that as I go along. I ask, well, Joe isn't on our team. I'll tell her, and I'll say, I test, can I check his energy anyway? Most often I get a no. Can't touch people on our team. And then I say, well, can I sneak in the back door? That's how I get clever with this. Yeah. And sometimes I get a yes. I can sneak in the back door, and then I can check his energy. And then if I can't sneak in the back door, I say, well, is there a spark I can blow on? And if I get a yes, I just do that. I just imagine there's a spark that's still inside this man, that he's been dumbed down that much, that I can blow on, ignite him to the point that I can then check his energy. Right. Every so often I'm sorry, I can't test him at all. But most of the time, probably 80% of the time, I can shift that energy around them so that I can get in and check what's going on. Okay. So then After I've gotten past that question, then I start looking for dark energy. I have 2 levels of dark energy. This is so fascinating. So when I first started this work, I didn't have the first level, number 1. I call it extreme dark energy. I have probably 40 of them now. And what's happened is that I would look at the lower level list of dark. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And what happened, I go, oh, they have dark energy, but it's not on that list. Oh, it's even darker? Okay, tell me what it is. And I would get a sense and a feel for what that dark energy is. Okay. And so what I would do normally when a new energy came up like that, 2 or 3 people would come in with it all at the same time. No coincidence here.
Right.
And so I would name it, and then I would write a clearing statement for it. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Because I have incredible supporting documents for my clearings. I have pages of tables. I don't think you can see this.
I can't read it, and
I have pages and pages of tables.
Oh, you do. This is amazing.
And I have this is 15 pages long, which are clearing statements.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to work with extreme dark energy. And I don't know which one I'm going to read to you. I'll read you. Let me see. This is how I cleared these extreme dark energies. I asked Archangel Michael to do it. I can't clear it because I've cleared these extreme dark energies before and I get backlash. So I learned to ask him. Okay. So there's one that's most recently, last month, I identified extreme dark energy titled Biggest Fear. Okay.
Right.
And the clearing is this. I'm going to give you the full scope here. This is fun. Archangel Michael, will you please clear the threatening energies that are present and causing great havoc in the form of fear? We know that fear is one of our strongest enemies, and we ask that you tackle this threat with justice and refill with the calmest peace that is possible, and fill Sally with hope. Okay. And so that's how I clear extreme dark energy. Okay. And they range, I'm going to tell you, they range from dark entity, dark force entity, double demon, demonic EMF, 5G towers. Come on, you know these things. Yeah. COVID vaccine, third stranded DNA, timelines, health attack, life household attack. These go on and on. I have one called Wrecking Ball. It's just like, it's an energy that was coming in and just totally wrecking families. So that's the first thing I do, is find if there's any extreme and I clear them. Then I look for what I call negative polarities, which is a psychic attack. This includes energies like black magic, energy drain, demons, green gases, hexes, hooks, inner demons. I have 72 of them. Okay.
Wow.
I do. And then the clearing for that is very, very simple. Again, I'll tell you what the clearing is. That one clearing clears all of them, whichever ones they have. And it's Archangel Michael, will you please remove any and all dark energies, especially that of, and I list them.
Yeah.
And escort, remove, send them to the light and refill with pure white light and unconditional love. And I'm going to tell you, my relationship in this work with Archangel Michael to clear the dark is phenomenal. It's a beyond. Anybody can do it.
I mean, the thing is that this is what's so beautiful, is that it sounds so simple. It sounds so just like obvious, straightforward. It's like you could, but the gift that you have is being able to identify and see what that dark energy is. I mean, somebody could be going around feeling a certain way, like, repeating patterns of crappy relationships, or having trouble with whatever, their energy, their health, and not knowing what that energy is that is keeping them tied to that negative energy, that dark energy, as you call it. But that the answer, the solution is so beautiful and simple. That identifying, but also that connection, having that connection that you have, which is obviously pretty.
It's pretty significant. It's pretty significant. And all we did is line 2 on this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so the rest of my protocol, I ask a lot of questions. So I take metrics down, right? I will calculate a person's life force percent or their harmony. I'll calculate what their energetic immunity percent is, or the resistance to non-beneficial energy. Wow. And I'll calculate their mitochondria percent, which I call their vitality. And that gives me a feeling for how the next section of the clearing is going to go, because this is when I get into, remember, spirits attached. I had that with my ex-husband, and then there's souls attached, and I look for souls writing. And this is an interesting area, because for my work, I think in terms of a spirit is to a lifetime, and a soul is a base level. So that would indicate and support that we reincarnate, okay? So that a spirit is grandpa with a pipe, and yet the soul is their deep level.
Is somebody who's been around several times, and grandpa was just one round, if you like.
Yeah. Yes. And souls writing is very interesting in my work. And I figured it out when I went back to where I was where I took classes. I also was learning to teach there. I also did a weekend fair. Okay, so Alida sat there at a table, and for $20 you could come. I would find a negative energy, clear it, and replace it with a good one.
Yeah,
reasonable. I'll try that.
Okay? Yeah.
What happened is that someone would sit there, and I had people waiting for me all day long. So nobody else was that busy, but people would come sit, and I go, oh, I feel anger. And they're the sweetest, kindest person you'd ever see. Yeah. And I go, oh, but it belongs to your grandfather. And it goes back 12 generations. And they'd look at me and they go, oh, my grandfather was really an angry person. So I was clearing it out of their back through generations. Yeah. And it happened over and over. It was anger. It was every kind of a fear. It was all these emotions. So I got done with that, and I went, So people had like relatives that came in to clear them. Then there's another story with a kid that was doing confirmation classes, and the priest said, go home and pray for your relatives. They need to be healed. And I went. So here's my take on this, is that when a person comes see me, and especially if they have maybe their grandfather attached, okay? That grandfather, all of the souls in his lineage, they come in to be cleared. So they hang out in the chakra about 6 inches below the feet. That's where they hang out. And there might be 25 generations, 30 generations of souls that have come in to get a clearing from me. And so I do specific clearings for souls writing. And I'll talk about my clearings in a minute, because I think since I'm going into the detail, it would be of interest to cover how do I clear this stuff, because this is not like the dark energies. This is a whole different way of clearing energy. So first of all, so we have a possible spirit attached, we have a possible soul attached, we have possible souls writing, okay? So let's talk about a spirit attached. it's my goal. I learned this when I was creating the protocol, that I didn't want to just clear the person and shoo that energy away. I wanted to look at whatever energy was there. So I'm thinking back to my ex-husband, right? And I want to clear that energy. So if a grandpa is attached, I clear the grandpa and then he releases.
Yeah.
Okay. He's here for something.
Yeah.
So I use a protocol. It's called Rose Essences. They're emotional situations that hook relationship denials into the belief system. And so I have 22 of them. I find out which of the 22 that person needs to clear, and I read it. Okay. Next is a soul writing, and souls write. Listen to this. Souls are writing. A lot of times that person living had Alzheimer's or dementia because their soul leaves their body. They don't stick around. They leave. And I found that reading a particular book. So, I mean, I could keep you busy here for 4 hours. Anyway,
I want to be kept busy for 4 hours. I find this so fascinating. It really is. I mean, it's so fascinating, and I could hear about it forever. But yes. I want to first of all ask you about because we've talked about removing dark energy and then removing the what you were just saying. What was that?
Yes, and let me frame that in a minute. I call what I'm just clearing non-beneficial energy. Okay. So we have non-beneficial energy, which is anything that's attached like this. It's just not beneficial for us. Yeah. And then we have dark non-beneficial energy.
Right. Okay. And then also, because obviously you did listen to my research on you a little bit, and I've written down here releasing old patterns. And so where do patterns that don't serve us, and I'm talking, I suppose, specifically about behavior patterns, addictions, things like that, where does that come in on your sort of scale of energies to clear?
Okay, that comes in. So as I said, if I have spirits attached, souls writing, I clear them with my protocols. Where that comes in for the person is that I'm using those same protocols on them. Okay, so I might have a client in and all the energy clearing I did was on their relatives. I didn't do any on them. Okay. Sometimes, we have to get rid of all that so that we can get to the base person and see what's going on there. Okay. I have a number of clearings I love. I created one I call Star Point, and I run that clearing on neural net pathways, on chakras, on any organ of the body. And what we do in that particular tool, and I created it out of 2 elements called star and ether, like wood, wind, fire. Okay. Yeah. And so I put the star on a pizza cutter to make it easy. It's all energetic. And I run that star point through a person's neural net pathways. So I want to release, maybe, some people have stinking thinking and they go into a loop. That's not healthy. So when I run it, every time the star penetrates the neural net pathway, it goes, it releases a misperception. And then it immediately refills with the element of ether to formulate truth. Okay. So it's beautiful to clear chakras with it. It's beautiful to clear someone in their memory with it. So that's one of the tools that I use. I make up these tools. It's my imagination.
Yeah, I mean, but it's very creative, what you're doing, but you're just doing what actually kind of makes sense to you, and it's sort of clear and obvious to you as to how it happens. And it's so fascinating that you were kind of almost called to it by your chiropractor, but it just landed in you. And did you not have any inkling of this in your obviously long corporate career, that you had no inkling that this?
I had like 40 years in corporate America. Okay. So would I have loved to know these tools, like to walk into a conference room and feel the energy, right?
Yeah.
The only thing is that I can remember is that I always knew if my boss was upset with me, but I thought everybody knew that, right? So if I felt his energy off on me, I would walk by his office door and do damage control. Hey, what's going on? Right? I
Yeah.
wasn't ever afraid of it. It's just like, well, we got to go settle something
And
down.
some
Right?
people might just call that intuition.
Uh-huh.
Some people,
Right.
it's just a sort of, yeah, it's just an empathy, really.
Empathy. Yes. Yes. But
Understanding.
that's how it all starts, right?
Yeah,
We get
yeah.
these feelings, we get these, and not everybody has them. I thought everybody could do that. Right?
So, but I mean, I feel that everybody can tune into this at some level. I feel
I do
everybody
too.
can open up
Mhm.
to this, because I feel more and more certain as time goes on that, spirits, I mean, obviously I'm fully on board with energy and our energetic body and,
Yes.
all of that. But I'm becoming more aware of and on board with the whole, these external spirits, these ancestral, all the sort of the kind of things that you've been talking about. And because we are all subject to their influence, and we all have the power at some level to connect with it, that, yeah, we can.
It's yes, it's anybody. I don't think I'm necessarily special. I feel like I just listened.
No, I think you are a bit special, Alida.
Thank you.
I think you definitely are. So there's two more things I want to talk to you about. First of all, your healing. So your protocol that you've called it your protocol for a while. Is this what you call the one command? Because that's another thing or is that a different thing altogether?
Oh, that's my favorite tool. That's totally different. So,
Okay.
so I'll first of all, I want to frame that once I get somebody clear, it's really important for me to teach them how to stop their stinking thinking, because
Mhm.
most of the time they bring it in on themselves.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so I'm not doing them any service at all if I just clear their energy and they got to come back next week. Right.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to teach them how to think better. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's where the one command
And in that
comes
way,
in.
when you say to think better, that basically that think better is another way of saying protect themselves from having all these energies, these non-beneficial or dark energies coming back and leaching back onto them. Am I
Yes,
right? Yeah. Okay.
absolutely.
So it's kind of
And
like
I can,
you've done the work, just keep clean,
yes.
almost. Yeah.
And protection is in actually in a category. I have it in a category all by itself. So
Mm.
that before I teach them the tool, I make sure that their protection is what they need it to be. Right. I put light pillars on them. They've got their bubble. Sometimes I encrypt their energy because they're around a lot of dark energy at work. So I do encryption. I might give them a stealth shield. I have about 10 different ways of protecting them. Okay.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's fun in itself.
Mm.
Okay. I even put people in a hazmat suit, an energetic hazmat suit to protect them at work.
Oh
Right.
my God. We all need one of those sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I want to talk about the one command. I love the one command. I learned it in the summer of 2009. There's a book titled The One Command by Asara Lovejoy. And it's by far the most phenomenal tool to manifest good into your life. Okay.
Mm.
And it's a statement. So you're making a command like an affirmation, but it's so much better. You only have to do it one time unless you start having fear, doubt, or worry. Okay.
Okay.
So a one command starts with, I don't know how. Okay. Just that. I don't know how. I don't know how bypasses your beta brain, right?
Okay.
Because your beta brain goes, you're right, you don't know how. But God doesn't hear the don't. So
Yes.
we're saying out into the universe, I know how.
Mm.
So I don't know how. I'm going to do my favorite one command. I don't know how I arrived safely and on time. Okay. How many times do you leave the house and you look at your watch and you say, I'm going to be late? I
Yeah.
had to break that habit. Okay. Because I was always late.
Yeah.
Because I said I was going to be late.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I arrived safely and on time. Then so you state what you want in present terms as though it's already happened. I don't know how I arrived safely and on time. I only know I do now. Okay. And
Okay.
then you throw in being grateful and fulfilled. So, and I am grateful and fulfilled. And now the full one command statement is, I don't know how I arrived safely and on time. I only know I do now, and I am grateful and fulfilled. Now, when I do that, I promise you, the freeway angels come out, the green light fairies come out. I am always on time. I might be 10 minutes after the appointment time, but they weren't ready for me. Okay. I am always on time, but I don't know how. My back is pain free. I only know it is now, and I'm grateful and fulfilled. I don't know how I have money left over after I pay my monthly bills. I only know I do now, and I'm grateful and fulfilled. I don't know how my son's surgery is successful. I only know it is now, and I'm grateful and fulfilled. You can do it for anything. And it is the most fabulous tool that I have in my toolkit. And I have created a bunch of tools. I've learned tools. I have about 50 tools I use. This is my favorite.
This is a good tool. This
It
I
is.
love. This I love. I love. I love. Because it's such a beautiful, simple one. And I love a kind of a statement, an affirmation like that, where it's a kind of cookie cutter and you've just got, you just got a brackets bit, which you insert what you need to put into that and
Right.
let the rest of the magic just take care of itself, because it does.
It
And
does.
it reminds me very much of non-personal awareness, which is a fairly new modality. I don't know if you've come across
I
that.
don't know that yet.
Yeah, I always tell people about this. And I did a podcast with Claire Jackson, God, almost a year ago now. But this is a way of letting energy pass through you and letting go of stuff that's kind of like that.
Yes.
So say you're I don't know, just holding on to a lot, you're just feeling really angry. I don't know. There's a whole process around it whereby you blurt out everything that's going on, and then there's a phrase that will pop out at you as being the one that actually really kind of encompasses everything. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And then you put it into a phrase. So let's say, for example, it's just angry. Okay. So you go, this angry, this energy of angry, this pure energy of angry is not personal. This pure energy of angry is not personal. This pure energy of angry is not personal. And I am willing to experience it.
Yeah. That feels good.
You're opening, you let it in, I'm willing to experience it, but it's you've opened the back door and out it goes. And it's a really, really beautiful protocol, way of working, and it's one that is fairly new and been developed by an English guy, or it came, he received it, if you like. And it's expanding. So and I want to give that one to you as a little,
I love it.
You might
What's it called again?
Non-personal awareness, NPA. But don't look up NPA, because you come up with the National Pig Association and all sorts of weird things like that.
I'm writing it down so I can look at it.
Personal awareness. Yeah.
Beautiful.
But that one command, that is brilliant. I don't know how I am free of pain.
Yes.
No, I am now, and I'm grateful and fulfilled. Yeah, that's
and it's the big part of that is that no woulda, coulda, shouldas. No, I will be free of pain. We don't do that. We plant it solidly in present tense.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Okay, so having swapped beautiful little magic tricks, which I feel that those are, Tell me about your book, Life Energy 2.0.
Oh, I am so excited to write this book. And I didn't realize how hard it would be to write a book, because that's a lot of words, and it's
Yeah.
50,000 words. And how does little me have that many words in me? But I'm
Obviously, you have
making
plenty of words,
incredible,
Alida.
I know, I'm making incredible progress on it. I am um, well into almost written something in every chapter. So my book is going to tell my story, what I told at the beginning, how I got into energy clearing and become a coach. And then I'm doing extreme, I mean, I realized I needed to teach all 50 of my tools, or however many I'm going to put in my book, and
Mm.
teach people how to maintain their own energy. So the idea is that my journey was over a year, and it was very fast, and I don't recommend that for anybody, um, but I'm teaching people through my experience how to raise their vibration, how to raise their awareness level. So they're going to learn all the tools. And I not only do clearing, but I have a number of tools for healing as well. So I go into healing in the book as well. That part I haven't written yet. I can't wait to write it. But
But we haven't even touched on the healing. I mean, the fact is that your ability to identify and shift and move on and clear and then refill with the good stuff, energy, that is in itself the healing, I'm guessing, really, isn't it?
it is the healing. It is the
Yeah.
healing. So we're using the exact same process, but with the idea that it's just so what happens is that we have energy in our etheric body, okay? But if it's there long enough, it moves through our meridians and chakras into our physical body, and we aren't well anymore. And so we have to go into the physical body and do not only clear out the energies that are there, right? So the etheric and the physical, but start on the healing process to bring the physical back. Yeah. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like I could talk to you forever and ever, but I feel like we've covered so much. And
Yeah.
do you know what, Alida? I would really love to just I want to kind of absorb everything you've told me, listen back
Yeah.
to our conversation, and have another chat with you another day. I would really love that to do
I
part
would
two.
love that.
Because
Yes.
I feel like we've scratched the surface. I feel like I've just got to know you, and now I'm like, right, I want to spend more time with this woman, and I want to know more. And hopefully my listeners will do as well.
That's
Because
lovely.
it's been so interesting talking to you. And yeah, just on a personal level, it's really kind of bizarre how it's just hitting home of all of the same things that keep coming at me from different directions. So yeah, I'm enjoying that as well, for sure.
Yeah. I'm
So
loving it. It's been great.
thank you so much for joining.
And right before we finish, I want to encourage anyone that's interested. I have, if they go to www.awakeninglifeenergy.com, they're going to be, they can sign up and receive 7 emails from me where I'm teaching some of my tools. And it also puts them on my website. So it's www.awakeninglifeenergy.com.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm so sorry. That should have been my very next question, is how can people get in touch with you? Because
Yes.
I'm sure that there are a lot of people now who are going to be wanting to
And
look in. And do you do your sessions on Zoom? Do you do them virtually, or do they have to be in person?
however the person wants them. So I have a studio, and people come here. I do them on the phone. I do them on Zoom, whatever a person wants.
Yeah.
And there's something else that I do, and that is that I don't mind giving out my phone number, because when people want to get in touch with me and they think I need to talk to her, right? I encourage people to send me a text if they're interested. Um, and that sounds like a lot, but what the heck, right?
Yeah.
My phone number is 214. Of course, it's an American number, so you put what 10 ahead of it?
Yeah.
214 504-8008.
8008. Okay, well, I'll put that in the show notes as well, so
That'd be
people can
great.
just pick up the phone and call you and go, Alida, I need your help. Yeah.
That's what I'm there for.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really, really appreciate you. It's been
I
great.
loved every minute, so thank you.